Hello everybody, welcome along. Thanks Year 9 for joining me. So this is me talking through the lesson today. What you'll need to do is the way I'm going to work this might be slightly different to what other teachers are doing, but essentially I'm going to tell you when you need to pause this video in order to complete the work. So rather than just watch this all the way through and then do all the activities, my intention is that you will work alongside me and I'll set you times to pause and then you'll finish. So basically by the time you finish the video you will have more or less finished the lesson. So with that in mind then, this is your first activity on the screen right now. So I'm asking you, what do all of these people on your screen have in common? How many connections can you make between them? And I've said think about their jobs. So just in case you weren't aware of who some of these people are, top left is Barack Obama, the former president of the United States. What he is doing right there maybe gives you a clue. Boris Johnson next to him, that is the Queen in the top right. Bottom left, is Malala, a famous speaker. You may remember studying her in Year 7. You read a bit of her autobiography extract. And then you've got two sporty images there. Joe Root, captain of England, and that is Jurgen Klopp, who is the Liverpool manager. So I'm going to say, pause this screen in a moment when I go quiet for 5 seconds and write down as many connections as you can, please, between those people and the jobs that they do. Okay? 5 seconds, I'm going quiet. Pause this video now. Right, don't know how easy you found that. You may have struggled. Well, the answer, quite simply, is going to be public speaking was the main one. You may have found other connections, but essentially all of them rely on their ability to communicate and to speak with others in order to convey their ideas, their points of view, whatever it may be. So that is the link with that, and that does link with Animal Farm, as we will see very shortly. So we have seen examples of speeches in Animal Farm so far. For example, in the last few lessons, you will have looked at Old Major's speech that he gives in that first chapter. But I'm asking you right now, what qualities make a good public speaker? So in the yellow box there is the first instruction. I want you to make a bullet point list of as many that you can think of, answering the question about what makes a good public speaker. There are two there that you can start with instantly. Confidence, absolutely. To be a good person talking in public, you need to have confidence. Maybe more specifically, making eye contact. The other challenge task I've got there for you, which you can take a few minutes to do, is looking up the definitions of those words, please. Those words are eloquent, orator, and oracy, and what all of those mean. So I'm going to go quiet again in a few seconds. The activities are there on the screen. Have a go, please. Off you go. Okay, everybody, so that should be it. So remember, you're going to submit this on Show My Homework so your English teacher is able to see all of the things that you have written down. And now we're going to move on to a quiz time. Excuse me. Clearing my throat, as you can clearly tell. So these are questions about Old Major's speech from last lesson. And then the idea is that by looking at these methods, you are going to try and build some of them into your own writing today. So if you have not happened to have looked at Old Major's speech, it is in the extract booklet that you were sent home in the last little while. It's one of the speeches in there. You may need to read it now, rather than just moving on with this activity. So you may need to pause this and actually have a read of it in case you've missed it. If you haven't missed any of the lessons, then you just need to keep watching and we'll keep going. So, question number 1 then, please. You're going to write these down. I'll give the answers at the end. Name the highlighted method, please. So the one that you see on the screen there, is it A, nouns, B, direct address, C, imagery, or D, plosives? Give you a second. You may need to pause these because I'm going to move on relatively quickly, so feel free to pause after each question I ask you. Here comes question number 2. Question number 2, name the highlighted method, please. I haven't given you any options there, I just want you to name it. Hopefully you can tell. So that is question number 2. Here comes question number 3. Name that highlighted one. Let's face it, our lives are miserable, laborious, and short. What is the method being used there, please? Here comes question number 4. Name the highlighted method again. So is it, so when it says forced to work to the last atom of our strength, is that A, exaggeration, B, sibilance, C, imagery, or D, hyperbole? A, B, C, or D? Here comes your question number 5. Oh, apparently I've missed out question number 5. I didn't mean to do that. Well, okay. 5, but it's written down as 6. Name the highlighted method there. We've got miserable, laborious, slaughtered, hideous, cruelty, and other words. Are they A, nouns, B, pathos, C, enjambment, or D, emotive language? A, B, C, or D? And here comes your next question, which says it's 7, but it's actually 6. Is it when you've got no animal in England knows the meaning of happiness or leisure after he's a year old? No animal in England is free. Is that A, anaphora, B, rule of 2, C, repetition, D, nouns? A, B, C, or D? Here comes question number 8, I think. Yeah, which is actually 7. What about looking at the yellow versus the blue there? Can you see A, oxymoron, B, juxtaposition, C, antithesis, or D, imagery? A, B, C, or D? Now, rather undeliberately then, you've ended up with 7 rather than 8, but it doesn't matter too much. Here come the answers then. So if you haven't had a go or you need to go back through this video and look at those before you hear me give out the answers, please. So tick your work if you got these correct. So that you should have put B, direct address for that one. Moving on to question 2. Where we had this one, what is the nature of this life of ours? Of course, it's a rhetorical question. Double check your spelling of that one, everybody, as well. Okay, then we talked about miserable, laborious, and short. Or you've got the 1, 2, 3. That's it. The rule of 3, you might have called it a triplet or something very similar to that. That's your answer. Number 4, we are forced to work to the last atom of our strength. Well, I mean, yes, it sort of is exaggeration, but D, hyperbole, is the answer when he's exaggerating for a particular effect. Now this is number 5, but it's down as number 6 on there. Look at all those adjectives that you've got going on there. And in fact, what you have there is emotive language, where the words chosen are trying to make us feel something. So when he talks about being slaughtered or slavery or miserable, all of these words have connotations which are really negative and make us feel sorry. So it's emotive language. The next one then I could have highlighted more, like no animal in England, no animal in England. So you may have put repetition, as it says on the screen there. Technically, you want to be calling that anaphora. Anaphora is particularly repetition used at the starts of several sentences. And it has this effect of almost of the same as repetition. It emphasizes it. But yeah, anaphora would be a better answer, but you can give yourself the mark if you got repetition. And finally, happiness and leisure and free in yellow. And then you've got misery and slavery in blue. And that's done very deliberately, having those opposites. So what you should have put down is B, juxtaposition. Oxymoron is very opposite words put right next to one another. Antithesis means very different, but really what you have there is juxtaposition. So you should be able to give yourself a mark out of 7 now before we move on to the next and final task. So see how you got on. And the idea again, everybody, is that you should be trying to use some of these methods from Old Major's speech in your writing today. And here is the task that you're about to work on. You are now going to write your own speech. It is a rallying cry designed to inspire your audience. You're trying to get them to believe in you and do something about it. You can use the starter, which is I'll go through in a minute, and then choose one of the suggested topics. Or you can negotiate your own with me, and when I say me, I mean your English teacher. But as this isn't live, you're probably going to have to just do one of the ones on the screen. So the starter is what you see in the yellow box. You can copy this to get yourself going, but then you may wish to change bits or adapt bits. Friends, students and Penrice people, we can stand for it no longer. We have been overlooked in Cornwall for too long. Now the time has come. We must demand and these are your choices, either a Nando's, because we don't have one of those down here in St Austell, or 5G signal and connectivity. I thought that might be something that's up your street. You know, imagine that, faster download speeds, the ability to stream all the time. Wouldn't that be amazing if you had 5G signal? Well, you don't, because you live in Cornwall, but it is on its way. I thought I'd choose those topics just because they're a little bit of fun maybe, but also you can try and use them as serious topics to try and make others believe that we need those things. Now in that blue box on the right hand side, these are some phrases that you could maybe try out. You may need to build them into sentences, you might need to change bits a little bit, and might even need to look up some of those words, because I bet for some of you, some of those words will be new. Arrogant leaders are ignoring our plight. We cannot continue to be rejected and neglected by. We must unite behind this cause. It is remiss of them to. So those should be stretch challenge ones for you to actually try and build in. But the other thing I will emphasize one more time, everybody, you are trying to write this speech about one of those topics, but you are trying to use rhetorical questions, anaphora, emotive language, all of those things, and it's going to be up to you to try and make them work in your speech. So I'm going to end the video here. You don't need me to sort of pause or anything like that. If you need to go back over anything, obviously do so in the video, but otherwise it's over to you. I would fully expect a class of mine to do at least 3 paragraphs for this, everybody. So that's the expectation of you guys as well. At least 3 good paragraphs. But of course, that's going to be down to your English teacher whether they're happy with what you do or not. So thanks very much for watching, everybody, and good luck with your speeches. Goodbye.